I'm Nancy Klensch. I am the creator and innovator of Summit Kids. How I describe Summit Kids and where it sits in the world for children is essentially what Starbucks did when they positioned themselves as the third place. You have home and you have work and you have Starbucks. That's what Summit Kids is for children. They have school and they have home, and we sit right in the intersection between the two. And we give children what they won't get from school and what they can't get from their parents. And this is the place where they can get everything in between. Well, we started as an out-of-school program. We've grown into so much more. Essentially, we are child-centric environments. We have out-of-school programming. We have summer camp and spring break camp and preschool, and daycares is our new program. I was a single mom, and there was not enough quality childcare programs out there. And I realized quite quickly that I felt guilty. I felt guilty having to go to work. I felt guilty having to put my child somewhere that I wasn't comfortable in him being there. And I thought, if I have to leave him all day to go to work, I need to feel good about that. And I think as parents, we feel guilty about a lot of things. And I don't think going to work and making a living and providing for your family should be something that you feel guilty about, and your child shouldn't have to sacrifice. So I created Summit Kids. I call Summit Kids a mission disguised as a business, because really what started to happen as we grew, we started to really see the need for quality programming. We really started to see the need for enhanced education programs, and we really started to see the need to provide a safe place for children to be who they are and to help them thrive. Not in a standardized environment, not in a place where, they have to follow a bunch of rules, in a place that will embrace who they are on their terms. And we found that that's what every parent wants for their child. And we now have parents coming to us. We now have schools coming to us. We have community centers saying, we want you to be a part of our community. And that's a movement. That's what we're starting to do here. Summit Kids is different because we're intentional. Everything that we do, I bring back to my own child and say, would this be good enough for him? And I'm not sure that there's a lot of intention and a lot of thought that goes into programs that are out there. I've seen a lot and I've been around a lot, and it just seems to be, let's just keep it simple, and let's just keep it, easy. And there's nothing easy about raising children. There's nothing simple about raising children. And they really need us to advocate for them and to give them our best if we expect them to be their best. There's a lot of programs out there now that focus on right brain and left brain, and let's start these young children, daycare age children, let's start preparing them for school. Summit Kids is heart-centric. We want to embrace following your heart and learning how to behave that way, learning how to be kind and compassionate. Things like hate and racism, those are learned. But so is love, and so is compassion. And I think as educators, and I think as people spending time with children, we have a greater value focusing on heart-led activities and growing the human with the heart, as opposed to left brain or right brain or any of those. And those just become pressure for kids. And they don't need any more pressure. They have a lot of life ahead of them to be facing pressures and stresses. And the thing that will get them through all of that is leading with their heart. And that's where we start. We have grown very rapidly. It was something that I didn't count on. I opened up my first location, and which I saw was just fixing a problem. And then somebody said to me, well, what's your plan? And I didn't have a plan. So I came up with, I'm going to open 5 locations in 5 years, because I thought that sounded really great and that sounded like a solid plan. And it really did satisfy most people. They didn't actually question me after that. And in 5 years, I think at the 5-year mark, we had 10 locations. And now we're sitting at our 14th location. We grew between 2011 and 2016, we grew 700%. It was more than we could ever have expected, and I'd love to take credit and say it was all in my plan, but it was just a beautiful byproduct of a great idea. When I started Summit Kids, I was every position. I was the CEO to the janitor and everything in between. When I wasn't doing payroll, I was hiring. If I wasn't hiring, I was working with the kids. And I've been able to work myself out of a job now. That's great. We have 80 employees, and so I have lots of people to take care of those day-to-day operations. And now I get to focus on us, on who we are in the marketplace. And where do we take this? You know, if we want to embrace this this concept as being a movement, then I actually feel we have an obligation to bring Summit Kids to the world. I think that we need every child to be a part of our program and to be a part of experiencing the things that we can offer. So that's my job now, is to figure out how do we get Summit Kids out to every child. I think the major challenges have come, one, from being a woman, and I think that a lot of people don't recognize that is still an impact for business owners. And I think it was people not taking us seriously. So I've become the woman that, you know, runs the daycare. I had somebody even a couple of years ago ask me if I still had my real job. So that was an indicator that that's a challenge. People actually don't think that what we're doing here is a serious business. And it still continues to be a challenge. It still continues to be a challenge when we talk about financing and scaling the business and getting resources and getting people to take what we're doing seriously. So it continues to be a bit of a challenge, not a problem, but I'm fairly tenacious and I don't take no for an answer. So it just keeps me going. The most immediate plan is to open our daycares, and what we're offering is a premium daycare. We have a concierge. We have someone who will sit with every parent and ask them the questions that nobody asks parents. What do you want for your child? What do you want to see for your child while they're here? As opposed to pushing our curriculum on the children and on the families, we really want to ask those questions that people just don't care to ask parents. We've just begun. The next stage for Summit Kids is to keep growing. And I'm not sure where that's going to be yet. I don't know if that is coast to coast in Canada. Is that North America? Is that an international market? I think at this point it would be irresponsible for us not to grow. I think that there's so much potential for us that carefully measured and with all the right support and all the right systems and processes in place, there is no stopping us. I created Summit Kids out of a simple need to have a great, safe place for my son. And it turns out other parents need that as well. So Summit Kids is going to be there with every parent as they raise their children, providing great spaces and helping raise these great human beings.